Hello, this is the third part of the Halloween guides for beginners. In the first part, we discussed how to get a basket. In the second part, we answered what the Halloween event is. In this one, we will be discussing how to plan and prepare for the event. This is getting recorded in July, and believe it or not, if we want to just max sweat, go hardcore, be crazy, it's already time to be thinking about how to prep for the Halloween event. I know that sounds insane, but that's just how Torn is. The Halloween event is the biggest event in Torn, for good reason. We discussed that and touched on it a little bit in the last video. So we have 110 days. Let's go ahead and get into our preparation discussion. So the first thing we want to prepare for is making sure we have equipment. The Halloween event, in order to get treats, the very first upgrades we'll be getting is to be able to use scary weapons, or spooky weapons they're sometimes referred to, and as well as spooky or scary clothing. So I would recommend for new players, the best kind of scary weapons to use would be the bone saw primarily, but if you can't use that for whatever reason, maybe you're working on weapon XP or something else, then the axe. And axes are interesting because you can get ranked war versions of axes, things with stun and crusher on them as well. So you could get a rank war axe, maybe your faction has something like that, or a bone saw. These spooky weapons or scary weapons are going to be extremely useful. You can also work on finishing hit merits with them. There's slashing, clubbing, mechanical, all right there. Eventually you will be buying a crystalline falcata from your basket. If we go to items and special items, we can open up our basket and see that you can purchase the falcata here for 135 treats. You won't be doing this very early, but when you do have it, it's another option for a scary weapon. The other thing along with the scary weapon is making sure that you have scary clothing. So the clothing, the ones I suggest are masks. The Kabuki mask is just very, very simple to get and very straightforward. They're relatively cheap, just like 15k or something like that. But any mask works. All the Duke masks work, like the Young Lady. It's pretty cheap as well. It's about as much as a Kabuki, and then the Mustache Man mask, which is actually what I roll whenever I'm showing my face, and it's only 11k. So I mean, there's very cheap options for scary items. The other things you can wear are some of the injury cache items that won't interfere with your armor will work. The torso bandage, I know it's expensive, but it won't break anything. It won't disagree with any helmets. It will sit over armor, so it's pretty useful to use. But for most people, it's just the Kabuki mask. That's the most simple thing. Bloody Apron's kind of in the same category as the torso bandage, where it kind of sits over everything, so it's useful if your helmet's not playing well with your mask. And this is a unique reward. I don't remember what for. We can get on torn.report and find it real quick. So let's do that real quick. While that's... oh, it's already loaded. No, it's not. While that's going on, we will go ahead and discuss the next point. That's items to prep for. Now, we already have discussed job points. I know that's not an item in the traditional sense, but that's kind of the big thing when we think about the time it takes to build up job points for companies that have energy for job point. Torn Wiki companies list we'll look at real quick, and we can see that a lot of these that provide energy are really good for beginners. The pub, the furniture store, things like that. I have a whole video of it right here, and I will link this video in the description. I might put one of those little cards up top as well. and we can just see that, like, when we're looking at these, they have energy for job points, but this would take a long time. We need 7 days worth, and we can spend 100 job points per day on energy effects. So this would mean we need about 700 job points. That, if you're not in 10 stars, that can take a while to save up. The energy companies that would be useful for players to be thinking about are, of course, the Candle Shop. That's the best one with a 5 energy at a 7 star. There's also the farm. I don't recommend that for new players because it's very hard to stay at 10 star. Even though it's the best energy, it's just not really worth it. Game Shop's kind of in the same boat, even though it's 5 energy compared to the Candle. So the ones that I would recommend are the furniture store, the pub, and especially the restaurant if you're kind of older now and can run one of these. It gets this energy boost, but you're also going to be using a lot of items, so you can also double up on the energy drink perk here and be getting a lot of benefits with that. That's going to cost a lot more money, but the event pays a lot, so it's worth doing. The other items you can do is your Easter egg hunt eggs. The green eggs from that are the best energy source for an item, so they're really useful to use. And then if you're not going to have enough of those, so you also need boosters, I would recommend using a book, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but your options are either energy drinks or Feathery Hotel coupons, FHCs. Either way, it's going to cost you several hundred million in items to run these things. That's why it takes a long time to prep again. So those are kind of the things to be thinking about. Let's go back to Nerve real quick and discuss the Bloody Apron. I don't remember where it comes from, but we can find it by going to Nerve, typing or clicking on the item view, and then it's the unique from burglaring a slaughterhouse, which is what I'm doing currently. So it's worth getting if you're at that stage already. Just get that unique and then save it for Halloween. Pretty straightforward. So that is discussing the scary weapons and clothing. It's discussing job points and items, and then we went back and discussed the Bloody Apron, confirmed that it was a burglary unique. So let's move on to building our targets. There's 2 ways to build targets in Torn over the months. The first is just doing your missions. Whenever you're doing missions, these are people that are beneficial to kind of save. So whenever you have a target like this, just add them to your enemies list and record what your stats are when you beat them. So I would do something like XP target, and this person was easy for me to beat, and I was currently at 9.1 billion total stats. So then I can add them as an enemy, and when I am ready to do my chains or whatever, all I have to do is search XP up here, and then OK, and then eventually they will be on this list somewhere. 9 bill. I'm not sure where they are. Oh, they're not OK right now, that's why. No, they're not there either. Huh. I will put 9.1 bill and see where they are. Here they are. So they are there now. I just didn't see them at the time. Anyway, this system, even if you don't have Battle Stats Predictor, which is giving me an estimate of their stats right here, with this system you can have an idea of what those target stats are, how difficult they were, and if you can beat them or not. And then you can just middle mouse this to open up an attack page with them and do your hits that way during the event. The other way to do it is just during your chains. Whenever you're chaining, if you run into people that you're hitting for whatever reason, just save them the same way with the XP and then your stats, and if they were difficult or not. You can even put a note like use tear gas or use flash grenade or whatever's good to use on them. That really, really helps in my experience. There is other things we can do, and we'll discuss that later. There is the advanced search, and we will discuss that during the event. So in 2 videos from now, if this is the 3rd one, that should be the 5th one, we'll discuss that. But that's how you prep for it. It's just saving a bunch of targets whenever you're chaining or doing missions for the next few months. There's also other resources to use. Books are very important. All the energy books are great for October because you can hit the Halloween event, and then also if you time it right, you can go in towards like the candy event and all that during November, or you can train for a month, then follow up with the Halloween event. It's just a really good setup. Next is a seasonal newsletter. If you don't have this turned on in your settings right here, you can go to settings, and I can't show you right here email subscriptions. It will show my email for Torn if I show it, which is separate from what you typically see. But if you click on email subscriptions right here, it'll ask if you want to resend a seasonal newsletter, and that will email you. You check your email that is related to your Torn account, not the one that you share publicly, but the one you use to log in. And that email will have a newsletter that kind of tells you what's going on in Torn, and at the very bottom of it will be a bonus 250 energy. They do expire whenever a new newsletter comes out, so use them periodically, but usually the summer one is used for the Halloween event. Not always, sometimes the autumn one is out, but generally I save them just in case, because that 250 energy is a very, very big deal. I also put here good behavior. This just means that like a lot of drama and like issues that happen in Torn usually come up during Halloween. If there's any bad blood, people try to fight it off, so play well with people, be nice to people, forgive, and Torn's a place where you can do anything you want, but you also have to deal with the consequences of it. I like it for that reason. I like the community for that reason. But just keep in mind that if you're pissing people off, it may come back to bite you during Halloween. Finally, the last resource is Revitalize weapons. We will discuss this more in detail in a future video when we discuss the strategies, which is right here. That should be this is the 3rd one, 4th, 5th. The 6th video should discuss this in more detail. But if you're running a faction or you're part of leadership in a faction, you need to be talking to them now about funding a Revitalize, because the prices for them are going to start going up from here on out. You want about 12% or higher, but it's not a super big deal. We'll discuss it later. Just know it's not a super big deal. But yeah, if you can't afford a personal Revitalize, look for an 11% and ideally a secondary. They will be worth it for the late game. If this is your first year, you don't need to worry about that. But if this is your 3rd year, you want to be thinking about how to optimize how much energy you output so you get as many treats as possible per energy. If we look at that on Torn Report real quick, we will just go to the Halloween event down here, Trick or Treat. We'll do light, we don't need our attack logs. And then we can look at the table, and we can see, made 1.7 bill worth of items during this event. A large part of that is thanks to having Revitalize. It just gives you that little bit of extra hits, and then that pays itself off with dark power and all that, so it all adds up. Anyway, that's it for this video. This was just planning and preparing. We'll keep going. The next one will be about what to do right before the event starts, so it should be a shorter one. But I appreciate you watching. Please comment with any questions you have, any plans you have for Halloween, whether it be paying people back or what kind of prep you're doing with items or gear or any of that sort of thing, I would love to hear that in the comments. Halloween is my favorite event by far, even though it takes a lot of prep. I hope you will enjoy it as well. I hope this was helpful to you. So I appreciate you watching. You have a good one. I'll catch you in the next one.